In this video, we're going to take a look at Future Leadership Foundation's website, and I'm going to take you through how to do everything on this site. So I'm going to go ahead and log out so I can show you how to log in. So you'll go to your URL, and then you'll go to /wp-admin at the end. And that's where you'll put in the username and password that we've given you, and you'll log in. And so I think you've already kind of done a few things on the back end here, so I'll just go ahead and go down the list briefly and hopefully get you set up to do some of the other things that you haven't been able to yet. So we'll just go down the list of the things here on the left-hand side, and if you'll look at updates, that's where we'll start. And the updates are all of your plugins, and we regularly check all of our websites and update all of the plugins and versions of WordPress and all of that. So if you want to, you can come in, select all, and click update plugins, but we also do that for every website that we host and support. So you don't have to worry about that ever if you don't want to. So we'll move on to posts. And under posts, I think you've already created some, as you can see here. And so we'll just take a look at one real quick. And you can see that you've got a title, you've got the text, you've got hyperlinks in here, and you've got your categories, and you've selected them, you've added photos. So looks like you're doing pretty good here. If you have questions about anything else under posts, you can let us know, and we'll help you out there. But it looks like you've got the main things down. So we'll move on to media. The media library is just where you can view all of your photos, any PDFs, anything that is media on your site. This is where it's located. But like you've seen in blog posts, if you need to access it through a page or a post, it'll be there. You won't have to come to the library, but this is just one place where you can find everything. So let's move on to forms. You've got a couple forms here on your site, and let's just look at this one. Forms are pretty self-explanatory. They're pretty easy to figure out using these fields over here on the right. And so anything that you have here, you can click on it and you can edit the field label, you can edit what's there, you can get rid of it, you can duplicate it, you can drag them around to reorder them. And these little headers were added through creating sections, and so then you could add a section, and then you can change the field label, and clicking page will add these, and then you can drag those around to put them in the places where you want the new pages to be. So everything that you want to add to a form is over here, so you would just select it, and then it's going to show up over here, and then you can change the field label and then drag it around wherever you want. And you can add things like radio buttons, and then you would give it a title, and you could have people check yes or no. This is done through radio buttons. You can add or subtract anything here, and then just change the title there. So we'll go back to forms, and then if you click on entries here, then you can see anyone who has submitted a form, and that would show up right there. And under notifications, this is where you can create a notification for yourself. So what I would do is I would duplicate this one and then come in and change the admin email. So send to email, you're going to change this to whatever email you want a notification to be sent to anytime a form is submitted. And I think all of your forms are fairly self-explanatory. If you end up having any questions, you can let us know, but you just click on them and that's how you can edit any of those. And if you delete any of these, it will delete any of the information that's associated with it. And then you'll always want to click update anytime you make changes there. So we'll move on to pages. And on pages, you've got a few different pages with different projects and testimonials, leadership, things like that. So any of these pages here are just going to have information. They're going to kind of look just like a blog post. So if you go to church coaching, it works the same way. You can bold or italicize, bullet things, make things smaller or larger, hyperlink. And then at the end of this page, we've added a form. And the way that that's done is wherever your cursor is, you click add form, and then you would select whichever form you wanted. And then you don't want to display the form title or description. And then you'd click insert form, and it would insert it right there. But since we don't want it, we'll go ahead and get rid of it. And you set a featured image for your page over here, and you can change it or upload a different one if you'd like. And then you can crop that image to make sure it fits and looks good. And then you'd hit crop it every time you wanted to crop, and then click update. And I think those are the main things there. And anytime you add a page, I can show you how to add it. I'll show you in just a moment how to add it to the menu. So let's move on to testimonials. You have testimonials under here. And so there's a page that has testimonials, but it just has a short code in it. So it just has short code for what I'll show you is right here. So if you ever want to add a new testimonial to this page here, what you would need to do is select add new up here. You can enter something here if you want, you don't have to. Then you would enter in the quote here and the person's name down here. And you're always going to want to attach it to the homepage rotator, which it's not actually on the homepage, but it'll show up here. So if you ever need to edit any of the testimonials, then you would just click on one, edit this text here, and click update as you make any changes. And like I said, then you put the name here, you can bold, italicize it, and then select add to the homepage. And if you wanted to add a new rotator, so they all will show up on this page. If you want to end up adding another one to a different page, that's possible through adding another rotator and then just adding that short code to a different page. But I doubt that you'll ever want to do that. So let's move on to homepage areas. This is, as you would imagine, the areas of your homepage. So I'll just kind of show you how we created these. So the first one is a slider, which we created through Revolution Slider. So there's just short code here on this page, and I'll show you how to edit this slider at the more towards the end. It's kind of further down. Pray, Give, Go. So we'll look at this one, which is right here. And what we have here is the words. They're all centered. And then this is linked to the Support Us page. And then it's also formatted as a button. And then all of this text here is formatted as white text, so that it shows up as white over the top of here. And then if you'll scroll down, this is where we've added the background image and we've added a color overlay and we've made it more or less transparent so you can see how there's a color overlay, but you can kind of see through it. And that's adjusted through here. You always want to click yes on padding. And these buttons here allow you to move where the picture is horizontally and vertically so that it looks okay around the words. And then in order to make it a half pod like this, you'll select half pod and then make sure that this height is the same as the half pod you want next to it. So the other one is going to have the exact same height. Otherwise, they won't show up that way. So you'll see that, let's see, is this current projects? Same thing. So everything, we've got this set as heading 1, which is larger paragraph. This is formatted as a button. It's hyperlinked. And then this is all set as white text. Then you'll scroll down. There's a picture in the background. We've added a color overlay. Padding is checked yes. And half pod yes, same height. And so essentially then the same thing is done here for this one, only we didn't, this is not white text. And it's full width, so we just didn't check half pod. So then under that this is where your homepage testimonials are. And it just has shortcode there, so you don't have to do anything in this part. And then if you scroll down, that's where we added the photo color overlay again and the transparency, and always check yes there. And then Facebook feed is going to be just a latest news with the shortcode in the back. And that's all we have there. We have this kind of light gray color and it's totally opaque and padding is checked yes. So if you ever want to add a new area like this, you would just select add new and you'd kind of just duplicate what you see here. Or you can always create a white background and don't add a picture, don't add a color, and just create it however you want. And so then I would just always center the text and give it a heading 1 and then put your text down here and you would just select publish and then you'd go to reorder and then it's probably, if you created a new homepage area, it'd show up here and then you can just drag it where you want and select update. So let's move on to the next item under projects. Let's see, is this? I wanted to see if we're doing this way. I don't think we're actually. Okay, we are using it like this. Okay, so for the Macedonia project, we're using pods for that. So if you want to update any of the information on the Macedonia project, so let's look at here. The title is here, project date's here, coordinator name, and the information is right here. And so then if you ever want to create a new project, you would just click add new and then fill in all this information however it is pertinent in the same way. And then you're going to go to all projects and then you would get, you're going to go to whatever page that you created for. So let's look at, we added Lithuania, I think. That doesn't have any information on it right now. So more information coming soon. So let's say I added a pod for that project. Then I'm going to come in here and say I want to list multiple pod items. And then you're going to say projects, projects template, or you're going to display a single pod item, and then you're going to put in the slug from that here. So you can see the slug right here. And then you'll put that in right there. So you can see that's what's been done here for the Macedonia project, and then the same thing would be done once you create a project for Lithuania. So again, here's how that works. Just to go over that again to make sure that it makes sense. What I'm doing is under projects, I'm going to click add new, and then I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to type in all my information and fill in everything right here and click publish. Once it's published, so under all projects, it'll be up here. I can click quick edit and highlight and copy this slug, and then I go to all pages and pick whatever page I just created. So like I said, like Lithuania, for instance, then I'm going to say pods shortcode. I want to display a single pod item. I want it to be projects here. I want it to be projects here. And I'm going to put the slug here and click insert, and it's going to show up the way that I want. And then click update or publish. So that's how that part works. If you run into issues or that doesn't make sense, you can let us know. So we'll move on to staff members. So for staff members, we have categories, we have board members and leadership. So if you end up needing to add a new one, then you put their name here, put their name, their title, their bio here, email, phone number, or photo, and you'd click publish and categorize them as a board member or as leadership. So you've got board members. Yeah, so, and then if you want to edit any of these, you would just click on it and make any of the changes that you'd like. Or you can always, just like with anything, you can delete it. And so if you click trash, it'll show up in a little trash folder, and you can either permanently restore it or delete it permanently. So Genesis is your theme. We'll not worry about that right now. Appearance is something we do want to talk about, and we'll talk about two things, widgets and menus. So starting with widgets. Widgets is where things like this logo is housed, where your menu is, and this sign up for our e-newsletter, and this thing here. So you can see this is the image, and it links to the home page. And then we've got your custom menu here, and this allows for us to have those homepage areas. Then we've got your social media menu, and then in this visual editor, sign up for our e-newsletter, and then it takes you to the Contact Us page. So if you ever want to change the wording here, this just functions just like a page or a homepage area would. You can edit anything here and then just click Save. And then your final menu, and then this last image here, and we've got it as a thumbnail size, and it links to their website. So if you want to add other items, you add them by clicking over here and adding where you want it to go and click add widget, and then once it's over there, you can drag it wherever you'd like. But probably not going to do much there, but just so you know, that's where it is. So then we'll go to menus. And under menus, this is where your main menu is set up. And you can see you have sub items under here. So once I create a page, it's going to show up here under most recent, and I can just select it and say add to menu, and it'll show up at the bottom. And then once it's there, I can make it a sub menu item other places, or I can change the header or the navigation label, how it shows up, or I can remove it, and you always want to click save menu. So if you ever add those new pages for new projects, then once you've created it, it should show up here, or you can go to view all or search, and then you'll want to add it here, and then click save menu and put it wherever you'd like. And that's all you have to do. So then under social, you will see that we've got custom links for Facebook, YouTube, and the contact us. So if you ever want to add if you get a Twitter, for instance, you would just say custom link, you'd put in the Twitter URL for your particular Twitter, and then you would just copy and paste this here, and then where it says Facebook, you'd just switch it to say Twitter in both places. And then click add to menu, and then you can drag it wherever you'd like. And like I said, you can always get rid of it as well. And then click save when you're done. So moving on, plugins, like I said, that's what's used to build your website, and you can add new plugins and make changes as you would like and as you see fit, and that's totally fine. Let us know if you need help there. Users, this is where you can change your password if you'd like. So if you come in here and want to change your password, that's where you do that. But you want to make sure it's super secure and a really good password for your website so it doesn't make your website vulnerable. And you can add new users as well. And again, want to be careful about who you give that out to. Tools, settings, SEO, not things I'm going to talk about today. If you end up having questions, let us know. Facebook feed, this is basically just the settings for how the Facebook feed on your homepage shows up. So if you ever change your Facebook page, that would be changed here, and you can change the settings if you'd like. Probably won't go over too much there because it looks good and it's probably not anything that you'll really want to change. Duplicator is something we used to launch your site. Feed them is a social media plugin that we aren't actually using. We're using this one. So we'll take a look at Slider Revolution. And that is what created that slider on your homepage right here. And so you have 3 pictures in here right now. And you can see it kind of zooms in on photos ever so slightly. And then you have this header that kind of falls in. So basically, the easiest way I can tell you how to do this is if I come in here and click on this, click on whichever one you want to work on, slide down, and if I want to change the wording here, this is where I can change it to whatever I want. You can change the font, you can change this font size. These numbers, font size and line height, always need to be equal, or line height needs to be equal or greater. And you want everything to be nice and centered. And you want to make sure on each screen size it looks okay. So if you end up wanting to change the wording here, that's totally great, totally fine. You'll just want to make sure that it fits within the bounds on all of these. And this background is created through background here, and the color and the transparency are set through here. You can see how much spacing is around there. You can see that the border is curved a little bit on those corners. And animation is the other thing. And so this has animation added to it. And this is how long it takes for it to plop down in there. But I don't foresee you changing these very often, if at all. And so the best advice I can give you is if you want to add a new slide, is to click duplicate. And then you've got the same slide. And so while I'm working on this slide, I'm going to click on it. And while while I'm working on this new slide, I'm going to say this little red, which means it doesn't show up on your homepage. And so then I can come in here and I can change the photo in the background. So I'll change my photo, choose whatever photo I like, and then I can change the wording as well. And then just hit save. And then you don't even have to worry about formatting it or trying to make this look exactly the same. It's already there, and all you have to do is change the words. And that zoom effect in the background is done through this scale in % under Ken Burns, so you can change these numbers and play around with that a little bit. And then we've got the background position switched up a little bit so that this picture sits nice and good. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that since we don't need it. And it's all back to normal for you on your website. It's taking a minute, so let's look. I don't think that you're using Google Maps for anything. It doesn't look like. Nope. You're not. So that's everything. So if you end up having questions about your site, let us know. This should really give you a good start and a good place to work with and add new things. So if you end up having any issues, let us know, but I think this will get you really far.